Okay, test of control done. Then in the test of control, you use the the procedures, observation, reperform, and the inspection. Also, another one is inquiry. Okay, and then you perform the test of control. Okay, in order for you to confirm whether okay the understanding of the control being in place and testing that the operation operated effectively throughout the period. Okay, anyone raise a hand? Okay, any who raised the hand? Okay, can't see. Wait. Amelia, yes. Besarkan sikit. Uh, can you see? Can you see the slide now? Boleh, Amelia? Boleh? Okay. So this what you have done in for the test of control before. Okay, and then you use the procedure okay of inquiring, and then you inspect the reconciliation. Okay, that's one what you have done before lah. And then re-performance. Okay, you re-perform the reconciliation, inspect, and observe the entity of the company. Okay, and then you should get the answer whether the control operated efficiently or effectively. Okay, and then if you identify the weakness, okay, then they have the potential of material misstatement. So they said that this will depend on the level of errors in the sample, i.e. the number of times the control did not operated. So if the control does not exist, so it's probably will have a potential of material misstatement okay, when you perform the test of control. Okay, then when you are talking about the material misstatement, okay, material misstatement, the potential of material misstatement, so you have to extend the test. Okay, extend the test. So when you extend the test, you have to think on the substantive procedures. Okay, so when you focus on the substantive procedure, so substantive procedure is focuses on the individual item. So you have the item, okay, in the items, detail items, okay, whether in the transaction or in the balances. Okay, you are going to gather the evidence okay, on this particular material misstatement. So to gather the evidence, okay, whether okay, you want to test whether this potential material misstatement where it's come from the test of control, okay, will be confirmed okay, when you perform the substantive procedures. So when you identify that result, okay, the conclusion, okay, you whether the item is presented with true and fair view, okay, and then you accept or whether it should be adjusted. Okay, so when it need to be adjusted, so you have to discuss with the management. Okay, so when you perform the substantive test, so what you are doing, what you are going to do start from chapter 11. Okay, because as what we discussed in chapter 10 on the analytical procedure. So analytical procedure, okay, you have to look at what stage it must be performed. So it must be performed at the planning stage. Okay, planning stage. and it must be performed at the review stage. And at the substantive procedure stage, okay, you might calculate or you might compare or you might use the analytical procedure, okay, when it relates with the material misstatement that to compare the figure list this year and last year. Okay, so it not compulsory. So it only to be performed when something happen. Okay. So for you to focus on the substantive procedure, you have to perform the detailed procedure. That's why it's called detailed procedure on the numbers in the financial statement. Okay, numbers in the financial statement. What does it mean? Numbers here is the value. Okay, value. So when we talk about potential material misstatement, okay, potential material misstatement, okay, in during the test of control, okay, so you might see that they might not properly authorize the invoice. They might not prepare adequate document. The invoice has not been pre-numbered and so on. So whether that deficiencies, okay, will lead to the monetary misstatement. Okay, so okay, monetary misstatement. So that's why you focus on the numbers. So where you want to look at the numbers, item in the financial statement. Okay, whether it involved in the transaction, okay, or balances. So what are the main sources, okay, of evidence? Okay, what are the main sources of evidence is the source documentation. Okay, so you have to recall back what are the document that you have learned in during the information system. Okay, and you have to use, okay, all the audit procedures, okay, that you have learned before. So the audit procedures including the A is analytical procedure, E is inquiry, okay, observation, overstatement and understatement, okay, of the figures. Okay, when we look at in terms of figures, so you have to use your okay, your audit procedures. So physical inspection, confirmation, documentation, okay, analytical procedure, inquiry, re-performance, recalculation, and the observation. Okay, so normally when you perform this procedure, so this is the substantive procedures, you are going to conclude, okay, whether the item, okay, presented with true and fair value. So that is your conclusion. You are going to gather the evidence. Okay, evidence regarding the item. Okay, is the balance complete? So when you gather the evidence, okay, if has the procedures, okay, meet the assertion. Okay, if let's say, okay, perform inquire from management the reason for any significant differences. So if you identify differences, okay, let's say you do the valuation, the stock taking, the counting of inventory. Okay, you observe the counting of inventory and you identify the balance in the book. Okay, balance in the book and balance as counted. Okay, this is in the ledger and balance as counted is different. So let's say balance in the ledger, okay, item for AX 100 balance as counted 95. So this is means is the balance complete? So if not, inquire the management. So that's how you get the evidence, and then how it meets the objective, okay, of your procedures. Okay, then okay, since you are going to gather sufficient appropriate audit evidence, so you have to refer to the financial statement assertion. So remember back that you have the classes of transaction, okay, occurrence, completeness, cut-off, classification, accuracy, and presentation. And assertion about the account balances. So you have balance regarding the completeness of the transaction, obligation of the asset, obligation of the liabilities and right of an asset, valuation of the asset, accuracy and allocation of the asset, existence of the asset, classification of the transaction of the asset, and this presentation of the item. Okay, so that you have to remember back, okay, what you have learned before on occurrence, completeness, cut off, classification, accuracy, presentation, and so on. Okay. So how you are going to obtain the audit evidence? So this also you have learned before. So use the audit procedures. Okay. Whether you want to use analytical procedure, inquiry, inspection, observation, recalculation, reperformance, and so on. And then for the analytical procedures, and then look at to the factors, and the last one, you perform the test of detail. So test of detail is the substantive test. Okay. And so what is the difference between test of control and substantive test? Okay, actually the similarity is both are is the procedures to obtain audit evidence. Okay, but for the test of control, it's confirm the auditor's understanding of the control, okay, whether it has been operated effectively throughout the audit. Effective or not effective. That is the answer, okay, you are going to get when you perform the test of control. Okay. When you perform the substantive test or substantive procedures, the answer that you will get is detailed procedures on the numbers in the financial statement. Okay, whether the numbers, okay, the value, okay, or the item in the financial statement is recorded at a correct amount, okay, accuracy, existence, okay, or whether it is overstated or understated. Okay, so that's the answer you are going to achieve. Okay, whether the amount is accurate, okay, whether the amount is exists, okay, whether the amount is I stand for inform, okay, okay, I with that O is overstated, U is understated, I is what okay, later. Okay, so that is what objective you are going to what answer you are going to get when you perform the substantive procedure. So at the end, it must meet the balance assertion. Okay, so this is what we talk about the item in the financial statement. Okay, actually you are going to discover, okay, the error or the fraud. Error in the item, okay, in financial statement. So that testing, okay, when you perform the substantive test, actually that is called directional testing. Okay, so this is not in your book, but I explain to you. Is a guidance to you in order for you to more understand about what is actually substantive procedures. Okay, so this is called directional testing because you are going to have a direction. What are the direction? The direction is come from the sources of this one just now. Okay, the sources of documentation. So this is your direction. Directionnya mesti ada sources of document. So that's why when we talk about audit, okay, auditor dia focus on the sources of documentation. Okay, so okay, what is directional testing? So test designed to discover error. Is there any error in the items in the financial statement? Okay, if let's say it's come from the test of control tadi, sales invoice, okay, okay, were not properly authorized. Okay. Okay, where the sales invoice were not properly authorized, so means that there might be sales overstated. Okay, so that is the error. Okay, sales might be overstated. So what should you do? You have to perform the substantive test. So you have to confirm whether this sale is overstated or not. Okay, so that test is called directional testing. What are the source of the document? Is the sales invoice. So you inspect the sales invoice. So that is the procedure that you are going to use, inspection. Okay, inspect the sales invoice to verify whether the amount is correctly recorded. Macam tu. Okay, and then test designed to discover error, test from accounting record to source document. So you can trace. Okay, sekejap kelas Hello. Salam. Ya. Wah, habis kelas pun satu. Tak nak kalau lama ke? Kalau lama, kalau kejap boleh dia cakap. Oh ya ke? Lama je macam. Okey. Okey. Okay, so what are the sources of documentation? So you have to take the accounting record and to the source document. So that is the directional. Directional tu macam bagi you panduan. Okay, macam mana you nak buat test? How you are going to perform the test? So in order to perform the test, you must have the accounting record and you compare to the source document. So let's say you look at is whether this sale is overstated or not. Look at to the sales ledger. Okay, you take the amount in the sales ledger and then you trace to the source document. So what are the source document? Sales invoice. Okay, so whether it is properly recorded or not. Okay, and then if let's say you are going to test whether the item tadi tu, the sales ni overstated because of the omission. Normally omission ni because of the understated. So overstated or understated. So if you want to test on the omission, test from the source document to accounting record. So if you want to check the error selalu overstated, you test from accounting record to the source document. So that is a different how you want to start with your test. If you want to test on omission, okay, whether the sales has been understated, so you have to start with the source document you brought to the general ledger. Okay, if you want to test whether it is overstated, so you check from the accounting record, okay, and bounce back to the source document. Okay, so that is directional testing where normally you test debit item for overstatement. Okay, you test credit item for understatement. So that's what is directional testing. So when you perform later your audit procedure, you must know whether you test item in the debit side or item in the credit side. So that is overstatement or understatement. Okay, and then this the what is directional testing, and I give you some example of the audit procedures. Before I go to the inventory, so I think you can read back, okay, because this is already discussed in the previous class. Okay, and this is when the when we use the audit software, okay, when you perform the substantive test. So this one you can read later. Okay, any question? Okay, any question?
No.
Do you have any question? No. Wait hujan sekejap. Okay, if not then no question then I proceed with the inventory. Okay, inventory. So I already share all the slides in the Google Classroom. So you can refer also from the Google Classroom. Okay, can you see the slide now?
Yes.
Yes. Clear. Clear not?
Clear.
Clear. Okay, thank you. So today for the inventory, okay, what we are going to look for the inventory. Inventory ni one of the major item in the financial statement. Okay, it involved in the item in the transaction and also in the balances. So it involve both in statement of profit or loss and comprehensive income and statement of financial position. Okay, statement of financial position. So it is a quite important topics. Okay, and normally it come out in the exam. Okay, so what we are going to cover in the inventory. So explain the rationale, okay, for designing audit program by reference to audit objective. So why the audit of inventory is important to the auditor, and you have to know that since inventory, okay, is considered as the inherent risk, okay, in the company, okay, because it involves the the susceptibility to the nature, okay, of the business. So you must be able to explain why audit of inventory is often an area of high inherent risk. And then you must know in terms of where to undertake the inventory counting. Okay, inventory counting. So this is inventory count. Okay, inventory count. And when you have the inventory count, you have also perpetual inventory. So perpetual inventory using the system. Okay, they are using the computerized system to record the inventory. And the last one, okay, explain the substantive procedures to meet the specific objective of the audit. So you must be able to perform the substantive procedures. Okay, so these are the overview of the inventory item. Okay, what we are going to look in terms of the inventory item in the financial statement. Okay, first we have to look at the audit approach. So the introduction part of the inventory, okay, such as why the inventory is important, why the audit of inventory is important. Okay, and then why audit of inventory become a difficult part in the audit. Okay, so that's the things that you have to know. Okay, in terms of the auditing of inventory on beginning part. Okay, and then we will look at in terms of the inventory count, the physical inventory count. Okay, since that in the test of control previously, okay, you have to observe certain inventory, certain activity of the company. Okay, if let's say you are not rely on the internal control system, or you do not want to perform the internal control system on that particular year, okay, you just go directly to the inventory count. So what should you do during the physical inventory count? Okay, so you must have a proper planning during the attendance of inventory count, what you are going to do, and you need to perform the cut-off test, and you have to know, okay, where how the company deals when how the company maintain their perpetual inventory counting if they do not maintain the manual inventory system. Okay, so this is for computerized. This is for the big company lah. Okay, and the last part is you have to look, you have to audit in terms of the inventory valuation. Okay, inventory valuation. So when we talk about inventory valuation, so must properly know the types of inventory where you have the finished good, work in progress, and so on. Okay, this is sometimes you need to use expert when you audit the inventory which have the high value items such as diamond. Okay, you need to know the value of the diamond, so that you need use the auditor's expert. And then can you use the internal audit work? Okay, so you have to relate back your knowledge, okay, during the internal audit chapter. So where if you auditor want to use the information from the management side or from the internal audit side, so you need to evaluate in terms of the competency, okay, the organizational status and so on. So this one not covered in chapter 11 because it's already covered in chapter 2. If I'm not mistaken, chapter 2 internal audit. Okay. So we go to the first part. Okay, the first part here, introduction part. Okay, why the inventory is often the most difficult and time-consuming part of an audit. Okay, since I said just now, the item of inventory will appear in the statement of profit or loss and comprehensive income, and also statement of financial position. So if it disappear in under the transaction statement of profit and loss, so it will relate to the item in the cost. Okay. Cost of sales. Okay, if it is item in the financial position, so it will appear under current asset. Okay. So to audit the inventory, it is quite difficult to the auditor, and it might take a long time. Okay, because look at the reason here. Inventory often represent a significant asset. So agreed or not, significant asset on the statement of financial position because it's put under current asset. Okay, and then the value of closing inventory and work in progress has a direct impact on profit. Okay, so you must okay, how it look like in the financial statement. So if you open up the statement, okay, of profit or loss, so you have the sales, okay, you less cost of sales, cost of goods sold, okay, where you have the opening inventory, you add purchases. Okay, and then you less apa? Add purchases less. Ingat lagi tak? Dah lama tak belajar account ni. Less apa?
Closing inventory.
Closing inventory. So, you akan dapat item of kat sini cost of goods sold, and then you will have the gross profit. Okay. So you have to look at this one, closing inventory and the opening inventory. So that's why dia kata inventory is often made up. Okay, the value of closing inventory and work in progress has a direct impact on profit. So this one, direct impact on the gross profit. Okay, and then inventory is often made up of large number of diverse items with different unit value. So when we talk about the manufacturing company, okay, they have maybe they have 100 of items with a small part. Okay, we have a different unit value. So as an auditor, you have to observe all the counting of the inventory. And then the valuation of work in progress is often a subjective process. Okay, how they value the work in progress, how many percent is in progress and how many percent is a completed goods. So that one should also to be valued. Okay, and then verification of the existence of inventory. Okay, existence of inventory and work in progress also involve the attendance of physical count. Okay, you want to know, okay, if let's say company have 5 branches. Okay, so each of the branches, okay, have their own inventory. So you have to test and to take a sample, and your sample must represent, okay, the whole population of the item. Okay, so that is difficult. And then provision for slow moving and obsolete inventory is another subjective area. Provision, since the provision is estimate. Okay, so how they estimate the slow moving and obsolete inventory to be recorded in the expenses. And then physical control of inventory is often difficult because of multiple location. Okay, inventory held by the third party. Okay, so that's will give impact on the valuation of inventory and counting of inventory. And different valuation method, okay, are allowed under IS2. Okay, so we have FIFO, and you have average cost method. Okay, so that is contribute to why the audit of inventory is difficult. Any question? Have any question? Ada soalan?
No.
No, so far okay Okay. So relates back with the assertion. So normally you are going to look at whether the inventory. So this is assertion for the inventory. Okay, inventory assertion. So they relate with the existence of inventory and ownership of the inventory. So when you look at to the ownership of inventory, okay, you have to look at in terms of the item, this one. Okay, inventory held by the third parties. So when the inventory held by the third parties is not the ownership of the inventory to the company. So other than that, you have also to perform the cut-off test for purchase and sales of inventory. Okay, to determine whether the inventory has been recorded at a correct period. Okay, and then raw material for the cost and also ownership. Okay, you also verify by the documentation, invoice, price. Okay, and completeness. Okay, so these are all the assertion that you need to achieve when you perform the substantive test. Completeness tested by observing the inventory count, ensure that the count records are correctly processed, apply analytical procedure, and occasionally rely on the inventory record where internal control has been evaluated and tested as strong. So completeness of the transaction where all the transaction that occurred is already included in the record. So that is completeness. Completeness. And valuation is tested by comparing cost with NRV. So that is valuation. When we talk about valuation, kena ikut IAS 2. Okay. Compare cost with the NRV. So this is the audit approach. Okay, the audit approach of the inventory. So normally when you look at to the item for the inventory, look at to the quantity, normally arrive at year-end inventory count. So when actually when you look at to the time frame of the preparation of financial statement, okay, so 1st January year 1, 31st December year 1. Okay, when you want to come to observe the inventory count, okay, so it is called a year inventory count, year end inventory count. So this is year end inventory count. Okay, year end inventory count can be done exactly on 31st December. Okay, it's very rare happen. Normally, it will be done a few days after year end. Okay, or it may be done by the company a few days before year end. Okay, So if it is done before year end or after year end, okay, it should reconcile back. Okay, so that is at year end inventory count. And when you look at in terms of the quantity, bila inventory count ni dia test count lah. Test count. So dia kena kira satu-satu item tu. So test count. So what are the objective when your approach is test count? You will look at in terms of the quantity. So whether the item is exist or not. Okay, so that is audit approach when you observe the inventory count. Okay, talking on the correct valuation, you cannot get the information from the test count. The correct valuation, okay, must apply the IAS 2. So what is IAS 2 tadi? You have to compare cost versus NRV. Okay, so if the amount does not follow the standard, okay, if let's say, okay, because of the economic downturn, they do not compare the cost with the NRV, but maybe the price recorded is below than cost. Okay, below than cost, okay, is against the IAS 2. Okay, because IAS 2 said you have to compare between, the company have to compare between cost and NRV. Choose which one is the lower. Okay, but in this case, they do not compare the cost versus NRV, but they take the lower than the cost. Okay, and if the company think, okay, the transaction, okay, is reasonable, okay, so they must have a disclosure. Okay, must disclose, okay, the item which are not follow the FRS. So this is not follow the FRS. Okay, but when you audit, you have to think on first, okay, use your professional judgment, okay, and think on the reasonableness, okay, of the situation. Okay, so this is what I said just now on the regulatory aspect of inventory. So this one you have covered in your financial accounting, right? Yasmin, is it right, Yasmin? Have you covered in financial accounting IAS 2? Yes, right.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so I think
Yes,
this is
correct.
not new. Okay, so you have the audit of inventory and work in progress is difficult and time consuming because of problem, okay, of control affecting existence and problem of valuation. So valuation existence is the most tough things that you deal with the inventory. So what is actually IAS 2 inventory said? Okay, the valuation of rules for inventory are laid in IAS 2. Inventory should be valued at a lower of cost. Okay. Lower of cost and NRV. Okay, so cost. What is cost? Is as a comprising all costs of purchase and other costs incurred in bringing inventories to their present location and condition. All costs purchased and other costs incurred in bringing inventories to their present location and condition. So that is cost. And what is NRV? Is estimated selling price in the ordinary course of business. Estimated, the company estimate the selling price less the estimated cost of completion. Okay, and less also the estimated cost necessary to make the sales. So this is what you have in IAS 2. And what are the costs? Okay, costs specifically attributable to unit of production, production overhead, and other overhead attributable to bringing the product or service to their present location and condition. So that is a production cost. Okay. So when you audit the inventory, as I said earlier just now, the most thing when you want to know the quantity, the existence and the quantity, the amount of the inventory, you have to perform the you have to observe the inventory count. So that is called year-end inventory count. Year-end inventory count. So actually, what is your responsibility, okay, of the inventory and responsibility to the management regarding the inventory? Is the auditor need to calculate all the inventories during the inventory count? Plus, P3, do the auditor need to do all the counting? P3, P3, are you in class, P3?
Yes.
Yes. So,
Mm,
what's the answer?
no.
No. So,
No.
what you expect auditor do? What do you expect? If you are the auditor, okay, if let's say you are the auditor of company apa company apa? Samsung or iPhone. So what should you do, okay, when you go for the inventory count?
Double check.
Double check. Double check apa? Why you are going to double check? Ah, you nak double check apa? Ni Fitri.
The stock yang ada.
Okay, double check the stock. The stock in the company. Double
Company.
check. Yeah? So you use the word double check. So actually, okay. Okay, thank you, Fitri. So now, okay, what is the term, okay, suitable for the double check tu? Okay. Okay, look at to this one, the responsibility. Okay, I think I give you 5 minutes break dulu. Boleh? Okay, because this is dah masuk the physical inventory count, the procedures. Okay, can I give you 5 minutes break?
Yes.
Okay, so go 5 minutes break. Okay, 5 minutes. Okay, class. Sorry. Assalamualaikum. Okay. Are you ready? Proceed.
Yes.
Okay. So now look at to the responsibility. So regarding Fitri's answer just now, double count, double check. So actually what is the terms used? Okay, when you want to double check the figure recorded by the management. Okay, so now okay, you have to look at what are the responsibilities of the management. Okay, and what are the responsibility okay of the auditor? Okay, for the management, okay, what should you do? What should they do in their record? Okay, ensure inventory figure in the accounts represent inventory that exists. They need to ensure as a management, so or the board of directors, they have to include all inventory owned. So inventory that they feel they own the inventory, they have to put it in their record. Okay, ensure accounting record includes statement of physical inventory count, okay, has been prepared by them. So all the inventory record, okay, inventory record okay, must be kept by management. Okay, whether they are using manual system or computerized system. Okay, so if they use the manual, so they must have they must maintain by store ledger card. Okay, they must have the store ledger card. If they're using the computerized system, they use the perpetual inventory system. Okay, we call it perpetual inventory system. Okay. And from the auditor side, okay, auditor side, the auditor should obtain sufficient audit evidence about inventory figure from inventory record. So they have to obtain sufficient audit evidence. Okay, regarding the inventory record, whether they have recorded it properly or completely. Okay, inventory control system. Okay, the control system of inventory, okay, in terms of the test of control, whether they are operating effectively. Result of physical inventory count, including the statement of physical inventory count. Okay, where I show you after this. And the test count, the auditor need to do the test count. So this is what Fitri said just now. Double counting is not mean that you test all the item. Okay, you perform the test count. Yeah, Fitri, the terms is use test count. So means that you only re-perform. Okay, re-perform. Okay, the test count. Re-perform not to all item. Okay, but the item you think okay is need for the auditor to re-perform. Okay, re-perform. Okay, re-perform. So you are not going to perform all. Okay, but when you re-perform, okay, you just pick up a sample. Okay, and then attend. This is what your duties, okay, or your responsibilities. Okay, you must attend the physical inventory count. Okay, if inventory is material and evidence of existence is provided by management, inventory count. So you attend the physical inventory count when the management perform their inventory count. Okay, let's say the inventory counting, okay, is done okay, on 5th of 5th of January, year 2. So this is the date of inventory count. Okay, date of inventory counting. Okay, so you have to attend, okay, on this date. Okay, you have to attend on that date. So that is your responsibility. Attend physical inventory count. Okay, if inventory is material. So normally, okay, for the company that have inventory, then the inventory is material. But then if the company does not have any, the company does not have any inventory, okay, where the company is a service company, where the company is a service company, so it's not required for you to attend the inventory count because they don't have any inventory. So that is the thing you have to look at, whether the company is a service company or the company is a maintain the inventory. Okay, so this is the example, okay, where the audit team, okay, has done, okay, during the inventory. So this is what they record during the year, okay, for the current year. So they have a draft, okay, for year 2006. So this is current year lah, okay, current year. And this is what happened in last year, actual 2000x5, the counting. Okay, and then the inventory, okay, raw material at cost, okay, in the draft, draft on the current year, okay, is 12,952. Work in progress at cost 20,699. Finished good 30,800, and the total inventory, okay, in the current asset is 47,451. So this is total inventory in current asset. So what should you do? Okay, from the last year, you have to compare. Okay, that the actual for the 2000 X5, okay, 4,600. Ni X5 ni actual counting. Okay, so this is happen. So in current year, this is happen. So they have increased. Okay, from 24,701 to 47,451. So if you look at to the analytical procedure, so you have the company have an increase in current asset. In current asset. So you have to check, okay, what are the plausible relationship, okay, when they have increase in inventory. So what how you want to record this one? So yang ni tak ada lagi figure ni. Okay, this figure is recorded, okay, when you already finish your audit of inventory. So you put the actual kat sini, the final one. Okay, so what is happen, okay, for the audit of inventory. So that is your responsibility. Okay, this is auditor's responsibility. Okay, and then for this one, is draft here is given by who? By management. So this is a draft in financial statement. Take from the financial statement. So it's already prepared by the management. So auditor's responsibility is to determine whether this figure is correctly, okay, what you are going to determine whether this is exists, okay, whether this is complete, okay, correct valuation, okay, and yes, under or over statement, accurate. Okay, so that's what you are going to test. Okay, so in order for you to put at the final figures, that is auditor's responsibilities. Okay. So now when we go to the inventory count, so you have to evaluate management instruction and procedures for recording and controlling the result of the inventory count. So first of all, when you come for the inventory count, okay, as your one of your responsibility, so you must get the management instruction and procedures, okay, for recording and controlling the result of the physical inventory count. So how, okay, the management conduct the inventory count. Okay, how the management conduct the inventory count. So you must get the instruction procedures. Okay, instructions procedures. Okay, and then for the auditor, next they observe the performance of the count procedure. Observe, do the observation. Okay, observation on the inventory count tadi. And then you inspect the inventory whether it is in a good location. So you will get this answer, okay, whether it is located, okay, in a good location, whether it is in the good location or item is in a good condition. Okay, bila is in a good condition means that it can be used to be set. And while doing the observation, okay, you might perform the test count. So you re-perform. Okay, you re-perform based on samples or based on the whole unit. Okay, depends on the situation. And perform audit procedure over the entity's final inventory record to determine whether they are accurately reflect the counts result. So you have to perform the audit procedures. So audit procedures tadi, you nak tengok whether it is over statement. Okay, so if it is over statement, then you have to vouch the document. Okay, you might get the document on the asset, so on the inventory, okay, such as you might vouch the sales invoice, okay, to the general ledger and so on. Okay, so to check whether the amount is understated or overstated. So that is the how you are going to do on the physical inventory count. So or you can re-perform in terms of the this one. Okay, reconciliation. Okay, so this one tadi I kata existence and condition of inventory. So after you finish on this procedure, okay, so you might do the reconciliation. Okay, if let's say your actual amount dengan the company's actual figure, okay, actual record in the inventory listing, okay, and the actual count, okay, actual count record in the inventory listing dengan inventory count, okay, is different. So let's say inventory listing dia list 100, actual counting 90. So this must be reconciled. who should do the reconciliation? The management. You can do your own reconciliation, or you ask the management to reconcile and you re-perform the reconciliation. Okay. So when you get that instruction tadi, so first this one, evaluate management instruction and procedure for recording and controlling the result of the physical inventory count. How you are going to plan? So this is the when you get the instruction regarding the inventory count. Okay, so the auditor should plan, okay, the audit procedures. Okay, so first you have to gain understanding, okay, review previous year's arrangement, perform analytical procedure, discuss with management inventory count arrangement and significant changes. So this one, what you are going to plan, okay, on the inventory count procedures. Okay, kena buat planning tak boleh main pergi-pergi je. Okay, so you need to review the previous years. So macam ni. So this is a previous years. Okay, previous year's result. Okay, regarding the inventory. And then perform analytical procedure. If you want to find any area of potential misstatement or any area you want to focus. Okay, any area you want to focus. So this one. Kan? Yang ni macam you dah nampak, okay, ada increase in amount. So increase by how many? So that is you have to start thinking that there is a possibility of overstatement or overstatement. You need to perform analytical procedure. Okay, and then you discuss the management inventory count arrangement and significant changes if they have a significant changes in the inventory count. Okay, key factors. Assess the key factors, nature and volume of inventory, risk relating to inventory. So this is inherent risk. Okay, what are the inherent risk factors relate to the inventory? So maybe you have to ask how many branches the company have. Okay, branches. Okay, and where the inventory located? So the location, okay, of the inventory. So that are the inherent risks relating to the inventory. And is the inventory prone to changes? Okay, because it is changed according to the demand and supply. Okay, demand and supply. If it is open to the demand and supply, okay, so means that it will affected by the economic situation. And then identification of high value item, okay, if the high value item of inventory, and methods of accounting, okay, whether they are using the FIFO or they are using the average cost for the item. So this I talked just now, location, internal control, accounting system, and internal audit involvement. So that's are all the key factors that you need to consider. Okay, and then ensure a representative session. Remember during the audit that you have to discuss with the management, and if they have 5 branches, let's say, so which branch you are going to audit? Okay, which branch you are going to audit? So selective of the branches. So if you are audit one, katalah you nak audit branches 1, okay, branches A. So branch A. Okay. The branch A here will be representative of the whole population of the branches. You cuma pergi kepada branch A sahaja. And inventory and procedures are covered. So kat branch A ni you nak cover semua ke? So you discuss with the management. ensure sufficient attention is given to the high value item. So means that if you audit the high value item, you cannot perform a sample. Yang tu you kena tengok key factors dia. For the high value item, you cannot do sampling. Okay, you must perform 100% test. Okay, when you perform 100% test, okay, and if you are not expert in that particular item, then you need to use the auditor expert. Okay, auditor expert. Okay. Arrange to obtain from third party confirmation of the inventory hold. Okay, so this is the third party item held by the third party. Okay, send a confirmation letter. Okay, so this is your planning during the planning. And then consider the need for expert help. So this one in the case of high value item. Okay, so this is what we talked on the risk factor just now. So I no need to explain. So you can read by your own later. So this is the methods for inventory count. So lepas you buat planning tu, you determine which method. So these are guidelines for the method. A business may count inventory by one or a combination of the following method. So boleh pilih salah satu or combination of these three. Okay, physical inventory count at year end. So this is what I said just now. At year end. So at year end means is actually at year end. Actual year end. So if let's say the actual year end is 31 December X1. So this is the actual year end. When you want to conduct the inventory count. Okay, when? So dia bagi pilihan sama ada you nak datang at year end. So this is the best method. Or you can come. Okay, so if you choose the second one, you can come. Okay, before or after. So 1 week before or 1 week after. So this is the year end. Okay, this is before. Number 1 and number 2 is after. Okay, so this will provide all the evidence of varying reliability depending on the length of time, business system of internal control and the quality of records of inventory movement. So remember under test of control, when the inventory counting is happen, there must have no movement on the inventory. So you have to look at the control over the movement of inventory. Okay, the length of time. So katalah the year end, okay, year end on 31st December, tapi the company do the physical stock take on 15th of January X2. So dia ada 15 hari gap. So the company need to do the reconciliation for 15 days. So it's a long period of time. So you have to look at whether they have effective internal control or not. Okay. And the third one is perpetual or continuous inventory, where management has a program of inventory counting throughout the period under review. So perpetual or continuous. So normally it is used by larger companies. So who will use an independent inventory counting to carry out the inventory counting at a regular interval. So yang ni kalau company tu have a good internal control system. Have a good internal control system of inventory. So you must come only once. Walaupun even though the company are doing the regular inventory count, okay, but the auditor's responsibility is to attend once a year. Okay, once a year. Pilih satu hari sahaja. Okay, for you to come to observe. Any question on the method of inventory count? Any question? Ada soalan? Soalan tak? Okay. Auditor. Auditor datang bagi tahu sebab yang kat sini tadi ni. Discuss. Okay, discuss with the management. Sebenarnya, actually management, will inform the auditor when they are going to do the inventory count. So auditor, come when they are invited by the management. Sebab kita auditor, kita tak tahu what is going to happen in the company. So these are the procedures for inventory count. So actually all the company know that they have to do the inventory count. But the dates, normally is not decided by the company. So auditor, what the auditor do, or if at year end here, dah sampai year end ni tak ada lagi date, so the auditor should ask the management when they are going to do the inventory count. And then auditor said, auditor also asked the management to send a letter to ask them, to observe their inventory count. So that are the planning tadi. The planning that the auditor should do. Mana planning tadi these are the planning. So when you get the invitation to observe, so you should first gain understanding, second assess the key factor. Yang ni semua auditor dah buat, and plan the procedure. So you kena tengok ni, ensure a representative selection of the location, inventory and procedures are covered. Yang ni semua you buat masa before you come. Once you have been invited to observe the inventory count of the company. Boleh. Siapa yang tanya tadi? Syamina. Faham tak maksudnya kat sini bukan auditor check. No, auditor it will not come in on the spot. Tak. Once the auditor get the invitation, then auditor should ask for the this one. This one is the first step. Evaluate management instruction. So you should ask from the management their instruction for the inventory count. Bila you dah dapat, this is before the observation. You have to evaluate management instruction and you plan for the procedures and so on. So bila you datang, you dah ada all the procedures, and you should identify aspect of inventory you want to re-perform. So this is when you use the perpetual inventory. When the company are using the perpetual inventory, so you need to verify that management ensure that all inventory lines are counted at least once a year. At least once a year. Maintain adequate inventory record, kept up to date. And the auditor must compare sales and purchase transaction with inventory movement and carry out the tests on the inventory record. For example, cost and classification of inventory. So that what auditor do, if the company chosen, if the company using the if the company using the third one, health accounting, and investigate and correct all material differences. So if they have the differences. What should the auditor do? Itu what the auditor do to verify the on the management part when they are doing the perpetual inventory in use. Okay, the auditor pula should attend. Okay, what should the auditor do if the company are using the perpetual inventory tadi? Attend one of the inventory count. Okay, to observe and confirm that instruction are being adhered to. Okay, so datang sekali saja attend. So, why? Because this is under IAS, IAS2. Okay, so sebab when the company are using the perpetual inventory, they are often used, they are doing the independent inventory count at interval, at regular interval. So maksudnya dia buat maybe once in a month. Okay, so once in a month, so every month dia buat sekali every month. So at the year they have 12 inventory count. So auditor need to attend one sahaja. Okay, follow up the inventory count attended to compare quantities counted by the auditor with the inventory record, obtain and verify explanation for any differences and ensure that the client has reconciled count record with the books inventory record. So do reconciliation. And review the year's inventory count. So the years, at the end of the year, so must review back. And assuming a full count is not necessary, okay, assuming a full count is not necessary at the end of financial year, just compare the listing of inventory with the detailed inventory record and carry out other procedures such as cut off and review to gain further comfort. So means that you are not going to do, okay, the auditor or the company does not have to perform the full count inventory at year end. Sebab they already do their interval counting, regular interval counting. So in order to match it, so just compare with the listing inventory. Yeah, listing inventory. So inventory listing in the general ledger, you ada listing of inventory, adalah item dia 1, 2, 3 semua ada, then the list kan. Okay, with the details of inventory record, so inventory record in the system. Okay, compare apa yang ada dalam system of inventory and carry out cut off procedure or analytical review. Okay, inventory listing ni dia list sahaja. Okay, inventory. Macam current asset, macam non-current asset listing itu hari. Okay, and inventory record, they will record in the inventory system. So, they will record normally the date of purchase, all the information regarding the inventory. Compare. Okay, apa yang ada dalam listing dengan apa yang ada dalam record, adakah sama? Okay, to look at the existence. Okay, and next part is work in progress. Okay, how you are going to obtain evidence on the work in progress. Okay, first you have to know the existence of work in progress by attending a physical inventory count. During the inventory count, you should also look at on the work in progress, and you have to review the management control over the completeness and accuracy of the record. So management control ni adalah internal control system lah on the work in progress. So the thing that you look into in the work in progress is the nature. Okay, nature of the in progress, and also in terms of the correct valuation. Okay, valuation on the work in progress. Okay, how they divide between the work of completion, the rate of work of completion and no itu. Okay, in order for them to put in the closing inventory. Okay. And next is on the review of inventory count instruction. So just now I said when you do the planning, okay, you need to get the inventory count before you go for observation, you need to get the inventory count instruction. Okay, you need to get the inventory count instruction. So what should you look into the inventory count instruction? Okay, you look at to the supervision by senior staff. So remember dalam test of control dulu kita kata the person who do the physical counting must be independent from the person in charge for the store. So you have to look at in terms of the supervision. Okay, tidying and marking inventory. So kita dah tengok tadi marking. So by line inventory when you do the test of control procedure for the inventory. Dalam case study tadi, restriction and control on the production process and identification of damage, obsolete and slow moving third party and returnable inventory. How the company deals with it. Okay, because you want to find out the actual valuation. Okay, actual number of the inventory owned by the company. Okay, this is in terms of ownership plus the existence. Okay, counting. So during the counting, so all to systematic counting to ensure all inventory is counted. So tak nak double counting macam case apa yang kita tengok itu hari. Dia ada movement and then dia letak barang yang sampai at the same floor. So that is not the good system of counting. Terms of two counters with one counting and the other recording of two independent count. So must look at on that system of counting and system of recording. So normally they have a serial numbering, control returns, okay, on all inventory sheets and completed in ink and signed. Information be recorded, okay, in the count record, okay, in terms of location, count unit, quantity counted, condition of item stage and in the production process. And then recording of quantity, condition and stage of production of work in progress, recording the last number of goods inward and outward and reconciliation with the inventory record and investigation and correction of any differences. So that what should you review on their count instruction, okay, by the company. Okay, so this is the procedure for the observation. The observation. So when you observe, okay, when you observe the inventory count, so you need to do this during the count. So what should you do during the count? Okay, can you read by your own a few minutes? Okay, let's say 3 minutes. Okay, what you do during the count? Okay, what you do during the count? Okay, class, which one you don't understand? Which part? Number 1?
Madam, yang nombor 5 tu.
Madam nak tanya.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5. So what's the question?
What does it mean macam inventory head on behalf of third parties kan? Yang tu dia macam dia hold dia tolong jualkan untuk orang lain ke?
Yang ni yang macam I cerita tu hari itulah yang masa kita buat test of control tu, dia letak barang kan, macam banyak kedai kan letakkan barang kan dekat kedai. Okay, contohlah dia kedai tu tolong jualkan, nanti dia ambil commission, betul?
Okay.
Macam tu lah, that good is not belongs to the company, so dia tak boleh include. Macam kita tengok, saya selalu pergi ni Lotus ataupun Tesco. Kalau kita perasan, dia punya macam produk-produk minuman tu, Vitagen, apa semua tu kan, kita tengok nanti company tu sendiri yang letak. Betul tak? You pernah nampak tak?
Dia tak perasan.
You perasan tak kalau kadang-kadang dia pakai baju Milo, dia pakai baju yang bukan bukan company tu punya ni lah. So that one, dia letak barang tu on the sales or return basis. So that is not that is not Lotus punya produk. So bila dia buat inventory count, so dia kena exclude kan barang-barang yang bukan dia punya tu, dia tolong jual on behalf of the third party.
Okay, faham.
It's separately identified and accounted for to ensure that it's not included in the inventory balance. So dia kena keluarkan lah daripada calculation tu. Sebab dia based on commission. Okay, so the rest. So yang ni during the inventory count tu, yang procedure, faham kan during ni masa inventory count tu, siapa yang buat inventory count? Who conduct the inventory count?
Staff.
Kita janganlah sebut staff, kita sebutlah management. Okay, so management dia conduct inventory count. Okay. Auditor buat apa? Auditor? Auditor buat apa? Ni during the count ni, auditor buat apa?
Observe.
Yes, observe. So, bila you observe tu nampak ni, observe nombor 1. Lepas tu, bila you tak puas hati, perform a sample, sebut tengok sample, test count. Lepas tu, dah buat semua, obtain. Nampak obtain? The word obtain ni, obtain from who? Obtain from the management, sebab management yang conduct inventory count tadi. Okay, and then ensure that the procedure, damage, obsolete and slow moving has been taken place. Ensure lagi, confirm. Ini semua you kena inquire, discuss with the management. Ensure that the proper account is taken of movement of inventory. Movement of inventory count. Conclude. Conclude ni you buatlah conclude. Make a conclusion whether the count has been properly carried out. And then consider whether any amendment is necessary to subsequent audit procedure. So kalau you feel that need amendment and need adjustment, so kena buat follow up lah. So this is what you should have in the audit working papers. So I share to you. Okay, I share in the groups. Siap. The documents. Okay, I share dulu dalam group. The documents. Okay. Okay, get or not? Okay, I share to you the document in the working paper, detail of observation and test. Okay, so ada tak dekat I punya desktop? Sekejap. Okay. Okay, I share this one. Nampak? Can you see?
Yes.
So these are the example of working paper, okay? Of the inventory count tadi tu. Okay, so you can go through. These are all the example of working paper. Okay, that done by the auditor. Okay, on the work in progress, good in transit, total work in progress for the lead schedule. Okay, so this is what the auditor do. Okay, now we go to the okay, I take this one. Okay, where we go just now on the inventory. Okay, this one. So you can check what you have in the working papers, and then this one is after the count. Okay, after the count. So dah siap counting tu, ni during ni dah habis. So you consider amendment ni kan. So what should you do next? Okay, after the count, you need to do this one. Test trace item that were test counted to final inventory sheet. Verify that all count record has been included in the final inventory sheet. Verify that final inventory sheet are supported by count record. If there is a differences exist between actual and count in continuous, okay, obtain a list of adjustment. So yang itu you kena tahu list of adjustment made to the continuous inventory record to vouch that there has been adjusted to the amount physically counted or measured. Trace the invoices relating to the last good received and good dispatch note to the accounting record in order to verify that the invoices has been recorded. So this is completeness. Okay, completeness. Okay, sekejap completeness. Okay, and then review replies from the third party about inventories held. So review reply. So you hantar confirmation letter yang tadi I cerita. Confirmation letter, okay, to the third parties. Okay, confirm the client's final valuation. Nanti kita tengok on the final valuation. Follow up queries and notify management for any problem. And consider, okay, whether attendance at the inventory count has been provided sufficient reliable audit evidence. So that is after the count. Okay, selepas pengiraan tadi. Okay, next. So this is what Emilia do in Brown and Co. So nanti you boleh baca. Okay, you have to read this one. Okay, I will ask you back this afternoon. And this is actually what the test count they do. So this is the result. So example, this is the example I take. So this is quantity as per inventory record. So this is the inventory code. Okay, this is counted, quantity counted. and this is the note. Okay, class. Class? Hello?
Ya, madam.
I ingat I cakap seorang-seorang. Okay, so nampak tak beza dia? Okay, katalah kita tengok item mana yang different. This one kan, DY, ni. Betul? DYL 8837G. So they have a difference. So kalau soalan tu tak tanyalah, tapi in terms of actually what we're going to do. Okay, so kita identify quantity as inventory record 125. Quantity counted 50. So this should be investigate. Macam tu lah. Nampak tak? So when is it investigate, so you need to apply ni after the count. Kena buat extend test. Itulah maksud dia. Okay. Any question? Any question class? Ada soalan tak? I dah stop present dah. Any question? Oh, dah tak ada, dapat lapar lah tu. Siapa yang tak makan tadi? Itulah. Okay, so we start back at 2:10 lah.